Hi, and welcome back to Elevate with Elisheva. I am your host, Elisheva, and today we are in the middle of the week of Pesach, of Passover. And right now it feels like such a blessing that I am here recording this episode because if you are familiar with this holiday, then you would know that there is a lot of energy, a lot going on, a lot of places to be, to explore, and it just feels a blessing to be here. That the plans, sometimes they don't turn out as we want them to, and so we get pretty upset about that. And then somehow things just work out way better than what we could have imagined. So that is the energy that I'm really feeling right now in this moment. And I also apologize. I am feeling a little bit under the weather, so I might be doing some coughing or some sneezing. There is a lot of shift in the weather, so it's hot one week, cold the other, so it is just messing with my allergies. And in this podcast, in Elevate with Elisheva, I talk about healing, self-healing, and I use Kabbalah as the method to do it. And with this, I raise the awareness that someone may have in their own healing process. And I hand over the tools and the practices, practical practices that is from Kabbalah, that has shifted and elevated my life, and this is why I am creating this podcast. And in today's episode, I want us to pause for a moment because there is probably a lot going on. It's been very, very hectic here in my life, and I also know that this is a universal thing, so if it's happening to me, then it's probably happening to other people as well. So I wanted to share that recently, last week Thursday, I was hosting my women's gathering for the New Moon Circle for Rosh Chodesh Nisan. And in the middle of the event, we got a notification. Someone in the circle, she came up to me and she told me that there was a terrorist attack in Dizengoff in Tel Aviv, which is a very busy street. It is the place with a lot of bars. A lot of young people go there to hang out, grab a drink after work, or just meet with friends or eat. And this was extremely shocking. And the whole event suddenly went into love. We shifted from going to working on ourselves to comforting and being there for the other person. And as someone who was hosting this event, it's not something that you really get trained in to do on how to respond while you're hosting an event to a terrorist attack that's happening. Literally 20 minutes away from you. And of course, we did not keep anyone there if they didn't want to be there, if they wanted to go home. But unfortunately, during that time, they did not catch the terrorist. So everyone stayed, and the night was phenomenal in a way that we were able to support one another. We were about 8 women all together, and it just really gave a feeling of safety to be with the other person. And it was actually the night that my New Moon Circle got sold out for the first time. So you could say that it was just a coincidence, but to me it was not. For whatever reason, each and every woman, we were meant to be there, to be together and not be alone. 2 of the women, one of them works on Dizengoff and one of them lives on Dizengoff, and they both told me that one of them, she left work early to get to the New Moon Circle on time, and she normally finishes around 9, and the terrorist attack happened around that time. And one girl, she normally goes out to Dizengoff every Thursday night. So it was just a miracle. It felt like a miracle in disguise to be with these women and have this experience with them. But I will tell you that even now, it's still difficult for me to process that because it's one thing to be in the army. I also served in the IDF, in the Israeli army, but it's one thing to be hosting the event. And like I said earlier, and I'm still processing the whole thing, just how incredible it is when God, when the Creator swoops in and just makes miracles beyond logic. And that for me was just a miracle beyond logic, that we were all in a safe space together, supporting each other. And I just wanted to share that experience with you because there are miracles all around us. In the month of Nisan, which really has a connection to the word Nisim, that there are miracles that are able to happen this month that go beyond nature. And for me, that night was like mamash, like really a miracle beyond logic that I am still wrapping my head around, but also learning to trust and let go that Hashem did have a role to play in each and every one of our lives that night, which was so powerful. And today in this episode, I want to talk to you guys about elevating your life and trusting in God in the process. A lot of times we trust the process, but actually it's God who is creating that process. So why not go directly to the source, trust in Hashem in the process? And when we do level up, when we do elevate our lives, there are a lot of things that can actually be holding us back. If it's limiting beliefs, if it's our circumstances, we will find every excuse in the book not to do something, even though we know that this next action can actually elevate us and make a huge change in our life. For the longest time, I have been ignoring updating my website. I'm telling myself, I don't have time for that. I'm not a good designer. I can't do it. I can't afford someone to do it for me. I can't delegate it to anyone. So all these excuses. And there's this process that we go through when we are leveling up, that all the evil forces, all these, there's like the good forces, the forces that support us and want us to grow. And there will also be the evil forces that are holding us back. And they show up exactly when you are meant to be leveling up. And that is the work. It's really easy to be spiritual, to be working on personal development in your comfort zone, when you're really comfortable with things. But it really matters when you feel uncomfortable. And these evil forces show up, and it's always around that time when you are meant to level up. So I recognized that, and I told myself, okay, I'm recognizing that these thoughts are what holding me back. And these forces can manifest in many ways, like feelings, limiting beliefs, circumstances, noises, outside, external noises. It comes in many ways that they're just waiting for you to say, like, fine, I give up. But don't do that to yourself. Prove that to yourself that you can, even if when it's really hard and struggling, then you're still making that effort to level up your life. And if it would be easy, then everyone would be doing it. There's always those few people that I see in my life, in my circle, that are struggling, but in a way that's helping them grow and change their life. So if you're recognizing this week that you are meant to level up and you're having all these, limiting beliefs surface for you, then acknowledge them, notice them, and sit with them. There's those feelings. We are human after all, and we are meant to feel the feelings. We want to feel it to heal it. But we also want to transcend that, allow the emotions to work their way through you and not hold you back, because it's a very common for people to be stuck in their emotions. And a lot of times those emotions can just move their way through you. And right now, as we're in Pesach, this is the time that we are starting over, that we are breaking the chains of the past. We're breaking the chains of bad habits that are no longer serving us. And we'll see that if there are people, a job, circumstances, things that are really not resonating with your greatest good, then they're sort of, dropping out of your life. It's sort of just leaving you. So with that, be the observer right now in your life. See what is going on. And a lot of times that we want to jump in, take control, but we need to remind ourselves that we are not in the control of what's happening externally from us. And even though it's really, really hard, because I'm also going through that right now, where I really want to go on a trip right now, but it doesn't seem like it will be as what I thought it would be. On one hand, that's fine, because I'm understanding that there is something better happening for me that I may not understand right now in this moment. So I am very grateful, however, for any trip that will allow me to either leave Tel Aviv or to just explore the world in any way possible, and be really grateful for what I am experiencing, because something better is always coming, and I'm allowing myself to create space to receive that. A lot of times, even for myself, I forget that the most important thing to have when I am working through these emotions and these feelings is that I'm just creating space for the love to enter. And a lot of times we fear the pain, we fear the wounds, but it's through the wounds that the light enters. And it's a really great reminder that if you are struggling and if you are going through something, remind yourself that although, yes, it can really, really hurt at this moment, but light and love and kindness can come through that exact area and heal you in remarkable ways. And I want to go into a story that happened to me recently, that maybe it will be able to help other people who struggle with insecurities and abandonment issues. So over for the Seder, me and my partner, we went up north, and it was a beautiful time. I stayed by my sister, and we had an incredible Seder, a lot of love, a lot of laughter. But before that, we went to the Kinneret up north, and I was talking with my sister and my boyfriend and my niece. She's almost 10 years old. And it's just something so special to hang with your sister's kids. First of all, it's such a blessing to know these people. Like if you're an aunt or uncle yourself, then I'm sure you'll definitely resonate with that. And we were sharing that I have a lot of insecurities. I especially love doing inner work with my family because it just leaps you forward, and it's very uncomfortable and very hard, but I know that this is the work that needs to be done. And a lot of times it's not forced. I'm really not trying to force it. It just unfolds naturally. So this is something that unfolded very, very naturally on the way to the Kinneret. And I was talking like, yes, I'm very insecure about a few things in myself, and it manifests in my relationships with people. I have a hard time trusting, and I have a hard time believing that I am good enough. And this is something that I've been working on throughout the whole winter months, was believing in myself. And my niece, she turned to me and she's like, "You're insecure? You don't believe in yourself?" And I told her, "No, I don't." And she was so shocked. She's like, "But you're beautiful. You're a masterpiece. How are you insecure?" And in that moment, that pure innocence of love and light that came through my niece, through this woman, through this girl that I just absolutely adore, it just healed so much in that moment. And I couldn't even recognize my own worth. And my niece is reflecting that to me. And I know a lot of times families don't want to go do the heavy stuff and dive deep and talk about these things. But in that moment, it was all so worth it to dive deep, to talk about these things that I'm struggling with and bring them to the table, because it was in that moment my niece healed me. And that is a moment that will stick with me for the rest of my life, knowing that I am a masterpiece, and I just couldn't see that because the flaws and the imperfections and the insecurities were just covering that up. And it's just an illusion. We have to reveal it and lift the veil of illusion of I'm not good enough, or because I'm not doing this or I'm not doing that, I need to be there in a different area of my life. That those things are not true. You are a masterpiece, and you are worthy because you are alive, you are breathing, you're a human being, and you are so worthy of love in every area. And I wanted to share that with you because it reminds me that we always need to recommit to ourselves. Recently, I finished a book by Gay Hendricks, The Great Leap. I highly recommend this book. It's a really easy read for people who want to take the next, literally how it sounds, the next leap in their life. And in there, he speaks about recommitment. And if you're someone like me who loves journaling and loves to go, dive deep within themselves to explore their inner world, then I make commitments to myself. I say, Elisheva, I am committing that I'm doing this, this, and this, and I am that and that, I'm committing. I'm making a committed relationship with myself. But sometimes we need to recommit to that. And it's over and over and over again. Like in a marriage, you make a commitment in the relationship, and then 3 years go by, and now you're recommitting the things that you said and want, that you want to give to the relationship, because we forget why we even started. We forget the purpose of what we're doing. And I really felt this in the past couple of months, where I'm forgetting why I'm doing what I'm doing. And by recommitting, it has given me the space and the room to remember, okay, this is why I'm doing it. And when we don't have any intention, then we have no direction, because intention equals direction. And when we have the proper path that we want to travel and we know where we're going, then we're just not floating. It's so easy to be knocked off the path when you have no direction, and anything can swipe you off your path, and 2 years have gone down the line, and you kind of wake up and you're like, okay, now I remember what I was doing, and now it's like restarting again. But that's not something that you need to fall into. You can always recommit to yourself at any time, and I think that's one of the most powerful things in being in a relationship with yourself, is that you're always recommitting, you're always putting yourself back and always moving forward. And with that commitment, you're able to soar, you're able to leap, you're able to have great leaps in your life. And before I finish this episode, I wanted to go into grounding, because there is a ton of energy surfacing right now. If you've been with your family, or if you've just been traveling around Israel or wherever you may be living, there's also Easter and Ramadan. So there is a lot going on in this world. And one of the greatest tools that Kabbalah has given me was to go above nature. That, okay, if you see everyone around you is going chaotic, then go the opposite. Stay grounded. Don't be like everyone else, and their chaos, if everyone's being like really stressed right now because it's the holidays, then like I said, go in the opposite. Find your calmness, your equanimity in your mind, and be grounded. You always want to be opposite of the nature in a way of go above it. And this allows you to elevate yourself, your consciousness, your awareness in what is going on around you and how you can respond to the situations. You want to pause, respond, and by doing this, it really gives you the chance and space to let go. A lot of times we're really stuck in the moment, and it can be very, very hectic, but it doesn't need to be. You could just pause, take a deep breath, let go, and like I said earlier in the episode, to allow the emotions to work through you and feel it, of course, but then let it go and create space within yourself to receive the love, to receive from, just to receive. And one of the things that have also been helping me stay grounded is to have deep conversations rather than the surface level conversations. And if you know me, then you know that I really struggle with having very surface level conversations. I don't know, I just want to cut to the deep stuff. As a Capricorn, then you would know that like I just dive right in. I have no problem to confront, but I'm learning that not everyone is like that. I can't just dive right into the deep stuff. You gotta, create the energy, create the space, and then go from there. But having deep conversations has been really elevating my Pesach holiday, I would say. Surrounding myself with people who just uplift me and they talk real good spiritual awareness and personal development. It's just been a game changer. So this week, be aware who you are surrounding yourself with. What's the energy around you like? And maybe if, you're with someone and they're low on energy, then try your best to be that vessel of light, of energy, and share it with them, of course, if with boundaries, and to really be that beacon of light. A lot of times people are even struggling right now to break the chains of the past, that they're not even aware of this energy that they have right now to level up completely, start new, start all over. It's a new year for it's the new astrological year. So we're starting new. We are free from anything from the past, but some people, many people actually are just not aware of that. And you are, if you're watching this and you're listening to this, now you know this knowledge. And this already changes the game for you because now you know how to navigate this week. If you want to be living a more aligned life with yourself, then this is the week to do it. Put that time aside, change your ways, change your behavior, and these will be the planting of the new seeds for this year. And that's why this week of Pesach is so powerful, because this is the same energy that the Israelites had when they left Mitzrayim, when they left Egypt. So we can channel that and be a conduit for that energy and be that vessel, that beacon of light for other people. And even if they are not aware of it, that this is what you're doing, you can really be that leader. In the month of Aries right now, in my previous episode of Experience the Rebirth, I spoke about the energy of Aries, and they are the child of the zodiac. And just like children, we're sponges right now. We're able to really navigate this time into being your best self. So why not achieve the unachievable? Why not just try your best and start something new, even if you might suck in the beginning? And if you just start, then you'll get better as you go. So, even if there's those energies that, the evil forces that are holding you back in your own thoughts, then recognize that and overcome that. They will always be there. So why not move forward even when you're afraid? Don't allow fear to hold you back from taking those next steps. It's something that I've been practicing a lot lately, and the fear, will still be there, but it's something that you choose to listen to. And even if the fear is present, then, sit with it. Don't run away from it, and try to, speak light to it. And so like I was saying, to wrap everything up, this week we have so much potential to break the chains of the past, to achieve the unachievable, and heal these things within ourselves that have been holding us back, and we can overcome all of it. And with this knowledge, you are this beacon of light now, and you can pass on this light to every person around you. There's this great quote that I love, and I think it's from Mother Teresa, that says, if you want to change the world, go home and love your family. And this really it stuck with me. It's a very powerful quote, that we think that what we need to do is, change the whole world, go to our community, and, go out there. But the real work is in here, in your home, with yourself, with the closest people around you. That is changing the world. So with that, I wish you a happy holiday, and thank you for tuning in to Elevate with Elisheva. If you really enjoyed this episode, I highly recommend you share it with someone that can benefit from this information. And feel free to follow me on Instagram at elisheva.lavi for more content as well. So yeah, see you next week.